Everyone, today I want to talk about something that has the potential to revolutionize the way you live, think, and experience the world around you. Something so powerful it can transform your life in ways you never thought possible. I want to talk to you about the importance of trusting God's plan. You see, we live in a world that's constantly shifting. The pace of life is fast, and the demands are high. We are bombarded with information, expectations, and the pressure to control every aspect of our existence. Our minds race, we constantly analyze and worry about every decision, and we often feel like we're in the driver's seat of our lives, trying to steer it in the right direction. But what if I told you that there's something bigger at play? Something that, if you allow it, can guide you more effectively than any plan you've ever devised for yourself? What if trusting something greater than yourself could help you move through life with ease, confidence, and peace? That's exactly what I want to explore today. The profound impact trusting God's plan can have on your life. Now, when I say a trusting God's plan, I'm not talking about passively waiting for something to happen. I'm talking about a radical shift in how we approach the very nature of our existence. It's about letting go of the need to control every detail and surrendering to something much larger than ourselves. It's about surrendering the false belief that we have to do it all alone. In our minds, we think we know what's best for us. We've been taught to create a rigid blueprint for life and execute it with precision. But here's the catch: the mind doesn't know everything. The mind can only pull from the past, from experience, from what's been taught, from what's familiar. It's limited. It's limited. But there is something far more expansive, far more intuitive that exists beyond the mind. And that's where God's plan comes in. When we trust God's plan, we stop trying to control everything and start allowing life to flow naturally. We begin to tap into a force greater than ourselves, one that knows where we need to be and what we need to do, even when our minds can't yet comprehend it. Now, I'm not saying that life will suddenly become a smooth ride with no challenges or obstacles. Life is still going to throw curveballs. But what changes when we trust God's plan is our response. When we surrender to that greater wisdom, we shift our perception. What used to feel like a problem becomes an opportunity for growth. What seemed like a setback becomes a setup for something greater. Our whole perspective shifts from one of fear and limitation to one of peace and possibility. Imagine for a moment what would happen if you no longer felt the pressure to have all the answers. What if instead of constantly fighting to control outcomes, you could breathe deeply, trust the process, and know that everything is unfolding exactly as it should? This is the power of trusting God's plan. It takes away the burden of stress, anxiety, and overwhelm. And here's the exciting part. When you let go and trust in a higher plan, you create space for things to unfold in ways you couldn't have planned or predicted. The doors that once seemed closed begin to open. New opportunities present themselves. People you need show up at the perfect time. You start to attract the very things you need, all because you've surrendered to a force beyond your own understanding. Trusting God's plan doesn't mean you don't take action. It doesn't mean you sit back and wait for life to just happen. What it means is that you take action in alignment with the greater flow. You follow your intuition, your inner guidance, and you do your part, but you let go of the outcome. You trust that even if the path isn't clear in the moment, it's leading you exactly where you need to go. This trust is a powerful energy that can unlock doors you never thought possible. It's like stepping into a state of flow where things just start happening naturally. The stress and tension you once carried begin to dissolve. You start to feel lighter, more connected, and more in tune with the rhythm of life. When you trust in God's plan, you stop fighting against the current and start moving with it. And I'll tell you something, this is where the magic happens. So how do we trust God's plan? First, we have to let go of the need to know everything. We have to let go of the illusion of control. Second, we have to be present and mindful, understanding that the journey is just as important as the destination. And lastly, we have to believe deep in our hearts that whatever is meant for us will find its way to us in the perfect time, in the perfect way. When you trust God's plan, you begin to experience life as it was meant to be, full of wonder, full of grace, and full of infinite possibility. It's not always easy. There will be moments of doubt, and that's okay. But trust me when I say when you learn to trust, you'll see the miracles unfold right before your eyes. Letting go of the need to control everything is one of the most liberating acts you can perform in life. We are often taught from a young age that success comes from our ability to plan, to control, and to predict every step. The modern world reinforces this mindset, constantly encouraging us to set goals, make strategies, and execute them with precision. But in reality, no matter how meticulously we plan, life has a way of throwing the unexpected our way. This is where the need for control can become a burden. When we try to control every aspect of our lives, we are essentially trying to force an outcome based on our limited understanding of the bigger picture. The more we grasp, the more resistance we create. The tighter we hold on, the more we stifle the natural flow of life. Ironically, the more we try to control things, the more anxious and overwhelmed we become because we are fighting against the natural rhythm of existence. It's like trying to swim upstream. You may exert tremendous effort, but it's exhausting and inefficient. Letting go doesn't mean you stop taking action or stop caring about the outcomes. It means releasing the idea that everything must go according to a rigid plan, and instead allowing space for flexibility, growth, and change. It's about trusting that even when things don't go the way you expected, there is a purpose and a lesson in the unfolding. Trusting that the universe or God's plan is guiding you in ways you might not fully understand yet, but are leading you to exactly where you need to be. This surrender to the flow of life frees you from the chains of perfectionism and opens the door to new possibilities. Now, trusting in something greater than yourself is a profound shift in perspective that can completely change the way you approach life. For many, the instinct is to rely on their own abilities, skills, and knowledge, believing that they must handle every challenge on their own. While self-reliance is valuable, it often leads to feelings of isolation and the burden of trying to control outcomes that are beyond our scope of understanding. We are limited in what we can see, understand, and foresee, and that limitation can create unnecessary stress when we try to manage every detail ourselves. When you trust in something greater than yourself, whether it's God, the universe, or divine intelligence, you recognize that there is a force at work that sees the bigger picture. This force has a broader view of the circumstances you face and a deeper understanding of how everything is interconnected. Trusting this higher plan allows you to surrender the need to have all the answers. Instead of constantly questioning what's next or trying to control the outcome, you start to accept that things may unfold in unexpected ways, but always with a purpose. This trust invites peace into your life. You no longer feel the weight of having to orchestrate every detail. You begin to act with the understanding that there is guidance available to you, whether in the form of intuition, divine timing, or people who show up in your life at the right moment. Trusting something greater than yourself also allows you to embrace uncertainty without fear. It's not about passively waiting for things to happen, but rather being in alignment with a higher plan that is unfolding in ways you may not immediately understand, but that will ultimately lead you toward where you need to go. Surrendering the illusion of certainty is one of the most freeing experiences you can have. In our fast-paced world, we are conditioned to believe that certainty is the key to success and peace. We seek it in our careers, relationships, finances, and even in the decisions we make every day. The idea that we must know exactly what's going to happen or have a clear fixed plan gives us a false sense of control and security. But life doesn't unfold in a straight line, and the more tightly we cling to certainty, the more we limit ourselves. The illusion of certainty creates fear. We become afraid of what might go wrong, of what we don't know, of what might be outside our control. When we operate from a place of needing certainty, we often make decisions based on fear rather than trust. And that fear holds us back from fully embracing the present moment. The truth is, certainty is rarely guaranteed. And when we expect it, we are setting ourselves up for disappointment and anxiety. When we surrender this need for absolute certainty, we open ourselves to a more fluid and expansive way of living. We embrace the idea that we can't always predict what's going to happen, but that doesn't mean we're powerless. Instead of trying to control every outcome, we allow life to unfold naturally, trusting that the right people, opportunities, and circumstances will appear at the right time. Letting go of certainty doesn't mean we're being reckless. It means we're accepting the mystery of life trusting that everything is part of a greater plan. It's an act of faith in the unknown, a belief that even in uncertainty, there is something much greater at work that is always guiding us toward what we need, even if it doesn't look exactly how we expect it to. Life's challenges are often viewed as obstacles, setbacks, or inconveniences. But when we shift our perspective, we can begin to see them as opportunities for growth. Every challenge that comes our way, whether it's a difficult situation at work, a personal struggle, or an unexpected change, carries within it the potential to teach us something valuable. The discomfort we feel when faced with adversity often signals that there's an area in our life that requires attention, transformation, or healing. Instead of resisting these challenges or viewing them as unfair or unfortunate, we can choose to approach them with a mindset of curiosity and openness. Challenges push us outside of our comfort zones and force us to evolve, adapt, and stretch beyond what we thought was possible. They can reveal strengths within us that we didn't even know existed, and they often teach us valuable lessons about resilience, patience, and perseverance. Moreover, challenges can provide clarity. When things don't go as planned, we're given an opportunity to reevaluate our goals, priorities, and beliefs. What seemed important yesterday may lose its significance when faced with a challenge that forces us to reconsider our approach. This reassessment helps us realign with our true desires and uncover new paths that we might not have noticed before. The beauty of embracing life's challenges is that it creates a mindset shift from a reactive, problem-focused approach to a proactive, solution-oriented mindset. When we face difficulties with trust in the process and an openness to learn, we create the space for growth. Challenges become the fertile ground from which new possibilities, insights, and personal development can emerge. Instead of fearing what lies ahead, we start to welcome it as a vital part of our journey toward becoming who we are meant to be. Aligning your actions with the greater flow of life is a profound shift that can bring a sense of ease and purpose to everything you do. We often go through life with a fixed agenda, driven by the need to control outcomes, make things happen, and push for results. While action is important, the key lies not just in what we do, but in how we do it. When we act in alignment with the greater flow, we begin to operate from a place of harmony, intuition, and trust rather than force and resistance. The greater flow of life is that natural rhythm that is constantly unfolding around us. It's the energy of the universe, God's plan, or divine timing, however you choose to understand it. This flow is ever present, guiding us toward the experiences, people, and opportunities that are right for us. Full time. However, in our efforts to control, we often try to swim against this current, exhausting ourselves and creating unnecessary friction. We push for things that might not be in our best interest or attempt to force outcomes that don't align with our true path. When we start to align our actions with the flow, we move with life instead of against it. This means being more present in the moment, listening to our intuition, and trusting that we are being guided in the right direction. It means letting go of rigid expectations and allowing ourselves to be flexible in the face of uncertainty. Aligning with the flow requires us to be open, to embrace the unknown, and to trust that each step we take, no matter how small, is leading us exactly where we need to be. By acting in harmony with this flow, we experience less resistance, greater clarity, and a deeper sense of fulfillment. Instead of feeling like we're constantly fighting an uphill battle, we start to feel supported by the very forces that shape our reality. Trusting God's plan creates peace by removing the constant pressure to control every aspect of our lives. In a world that demands results, efficiency, and success, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking we have to have all the answers, know every step, and manage everything perfectly. The idea that we need to constantly plan, organize, and micromanage our lives can be exhausting, and it often leads to stress, anxiety, and a sense of inadequacy when things don't go as planned. When we trust that there is a divine plan guiding us, we release the need to control everything and embrace the peace that comes with surrendering. Instead of carrying the heavy burden of figuring it all out on our own, we trust that everything is unfolding in its own time, and that each challenge, setback, and success is part of a larger purpose. This trust brings a deep sense of calm because it allows us to let go of the uncertainty and fear of the unknown. Trusting God's plan doesn't mean we stop taking action, but it means we approach life with a sense of ease rather than tension. It's about recognizing that while we have a role to play, the outcomes are not solely in our hands. By releasing our attachment to specific results, we free ourselves from the pressure of perfectionism and open up to the flow of life as it is meant to unfold. This peace comes from knowing that we are being guided even in moments of uncertainty, and that everything is happening for our highest good, even if we can't see it right away. When we trust in this greater plan, we stop striving and start trusting the process, which naturally brings peace to our hearts and minds. The mind is limited, but divine wisdom is limitless. As human beings, we are often taught to rely on our intellect and logical reasoning to navigate the world. We place immense value on knowledge, education, and the ability to make sense of our circumstances through the lens of what we can comprehend. While the mind is a powerful tool, it is inherently limited in its capacity to understand the vastness of the universe, the complexity of life, and the deeper meaning behind events that unfold. The mind can only process information based on past experiences, known patterns, and accumulated knowledge. It cannot foresee the future or comprehend the intricate ways in which everything is connected. Divine wisdom, on the other hand, transcends the limitations of the mind. It operates from a higher plane, beyond what we can consciously grasp. This wisdom is intuitive, holistic, and often appears in ways we cannot predict or understand immediately. It guides us through the unknown and illuminates paths that may not make sense from a rational perspective, but ultimately lead us toward greater fulfillment and purpose. The wisdom that comes from a higher source is not bound by time, space, or human understanding. It has access to a broader scope of knowledge and insight that can offer solutions and answers far beyond our individual capacity to reach. When we learn to trust divine wisdom, we stop relying solely on our mental faculties to make decisions and start listening to something deeper within us. This shift allows us to act with greater clarity, intuition, and trust in the process. Rather than attempting to control everything through the mind, we begin to open ourselves up to a guidance that is far more expansive, trustworthy, and ultimately more aligned with the greater flow of life. When we trust God's plan, we begin to open ourselves to unexpected opportunities that may not have appeared on our radar before. Life has a way of presenting us with possibilities that we couldn't have foreseen, and often they come at moments when we least expect them. These opportunities might not align with the path we envision for ourselves, but they may be exactly what we need in that moment of our lives. Trusting God's plan means recognizing that these unexpected doors opening are not coincidences, but rather part of a larger design meant to guide us to where we are supposed to be. It's easy to become fixated on a specific outcome, thinking that it's the only path to success or happiness. We set goals, create detailed plans, and work tirelessly toward our desired results. However, when we allow ourselves to be open to the unexpected, we remove the limits we place on what is possible. These unexpected opportunities often come in the form of new relationships, career paths, or experiences that might not fit neatly into our initial expectations, but offer us exactly what we need at that particular point in our journey. In allowing space for the unexpected, we also learn to trust timing. We may have spent months or even years striving for something that never materialized in the way we hoped. Yet, when we stop forcing the issue and trust that the right opportunities will present themselves in their own time, we often find that the right doors open with ease. These opportunities, even if they seem unconventional or unplanned, bring new insights, growth, and experiences that enrich our lives in ways we could not have anticipated. Trusting in God's plan helps us embrace these unexpected opportunities and trust that they are leading us exactly where we need to go. Trust is a powerful energy that has the ability to transform our reality. When we place our trust in God's plan, we are not just accepting the uncertainty of life, we are also tapping into a force that guides, supports, and aligns us with our true purpose. This trust is not passive. It's an active force that propels us forward, even when we can't see the next step. It's like a current beneath the surface of our lives, moving us in the right direction, even when our conscious mind may be focused elsewhere. When we trust in the process, we shift our mindset from one of resistance to one of acceptance. We stop fighting against life's challenges and start to see them as integral parts of our journey. This shift opens up new possibilities that we might have once overlooked or dismissed. Trusting in God's plan allows us to recognize that the path we are on is unfolding in the most perfect way, even if it's not immediately clear to us. The energy of trust transforms our outlook, turning obstacles into opportunities and challenges into lessons. When we allow ourselves to fully embrace trust, we find that we are able to let go of fear, anxiety, and the need for control. This release creates space for new opportunities, relationships, and experiences to flow into our lives effortlessly. Trusting that we are being guided by something greater than ourselves changes our perception of reality. We begin to see life not as a series of random events, but as a series of perfectly orchestrated steps leading us toward our highest good. By trusting in God's plan, we open ourselves to the flow of life and become more aligned with the abundant possibilities that are always available to us. When we surrender to the process and trust God's plan, we begin to witness the miracles that unfold right before our eyes. These miracles may not always appear in the form we expect, and they may not always be grand gestures, but they are deeply significant in their own way. The miracle of trusting the process is that we let go of the need for immediate results, allowing space for things to unfold naturally and in divine timing. We stop trying to force outcomes and start allowing life to present us with the right people, opportunities, and experiences at the right moment. Miracles happen when we stop trying to control every detail and instead trust that everything is falling into place, even when we can't see the full picture. There's a certain peace that comes from releasing our grip on how things should be, and instead surrendering to the unfolding of life. This peace creates an energetic shift, allowing us to experience life with more openness and receptivity. When we trust in God's plan, we allow ourselves to be in flow with the universe, and as a result, we often begin to notice synchronicities, coincidences, and signs that confirm we are on the right path. Miracles can take many forms, from a new job opportunity appearing out of nowhere to a sudden shift in perspective that changes how we approach a problem. These moments might not always be dramatic, but they are powerful in their ability to shift the course of our lives in meaningful ways. By trusting the process, we begin to recognize the miraculous nature of life itself and find joy in the journey, rather than solely in the destination.